based on the clear distinction between the urban system of the city of Guadalajara and the natural system of the canyon that defines its northeast border. The proposal Colonias de la Barranca seeks to blur this limit, integrating the natural areas into the urban system. The project proposes to take advantage of La Barranca as a national park that both preserves the natural habitat and provides recreational activities, to improve and propose connection within the site and with its borders, to define and expand a system of centers based on the existing metropolitan scale projects, and to create a series of corridors and public infrastructure that reinforces the cultural identity of the inhabitants of the area. In this sense, based on the existing green and open public spaces, and taking into consideration both the protected area and the areas of risk, we define a green system, a network of green corridors that act as protectors, defining an external border to the canyon to avoid expansion, and connecting the internal rivers to both rehabilitate them and make them into public and productive spaces for the existing settlements.
Likewise, based on the main roads and existing public transport, the proposal defines a mobility system to enhance the transport network and create connections within the urban layout, as well as create alternative systems that look towards bridging the canyon limit to the agricultural town in the other side and connect with existing infrastructure in La Barranca like the hydroelectric power station, as well as define nodes within the protective border that help save distances within the site. This enhanced connectivity also serves as a base to define attractors for the less consolidated and available non-utilized areas of the site, that can act as neighborhoods and productive patches for new settlements, whilst also defining possible transformation areas, given the new conditions and dynamics of the proposed border as a recreational and touristic walkway that integrates the existing metropolitan scale centers and public infrastructure into the system, and proposes new ones that take advantage of existing institutions and areas of interest and can act as stewards of the green corridors, generating a network of nodes that define the proposed border. In this sense, we selected two areas of study that have different border conditions, existing and potential nodes, as well as alternative points of connection to La Barranca, including the rehabilitation of the funicular or cable car and the proposed gondola system that defines stations in existing and proposed centers, as well as different urban conditions within the sites that allow to test the superblock strategy as a way to create mobility hierarchy in the site, promoting pedestrian and public transport connections.
In fact, the definition of the superblock system applied into the existing urban grid in the selected sector of Zapopan helps to define different mobility scales within the existing urban layout and different street conditions that can help promote mixed uses in the mainly residential sectors, as well as defining the network between the different neighborhoods. Proposing main corridors that help to relate disconnected sectors and provide infrastructure to less consolidated areas, as well as taking advantage of existing conditions to provide pedestrian connections in public spaces that don't exist in these neighborhoods. Connecting, this way, the internal green corridors with the protective border, which act as a catalyst of transformation in these less consolidated borders. Provides new open spaces for the more informal existing communities and creates new pedestrian connections that provides alternatives to connect both sides of the site. Defining this protective border has a dynamic path that responds to the different urban border conditions and connects proposed centers that act as attraction nodes, potentiating the historic and patrimonial character of this textile factory has a cultural node that connects with the peripheral ring road and the rest of the city. And proposing the cable car station has a mobility hub that connects the different proposed systems: public transportation, green corridors, protected border, natural trailways, and the gondola system that helps bridge in the San Juan River and create alternative connections with Huentitán.
Similarly, in the Huentitán sector, the definition of the mobility system is used as a catalyst to redefine sidewalks and the street borders as path of activity, that connect with the public parks and with the internal green systems, creating a network of otherwise insulated spaces, defining them as productive or recreational areas for the existing communities, generating a sequence of dynamic corridors that reach the border that is defined as a metropolitan scale center that unify different existing nodes. Zoo, the botanical garden, and the descent to La Barranca into a nature-focused educational park that acts as an extension of the protective corridor, proposing a formal border of mixed uses that potentiates the touristic, cultural, and recreational programs as a response to the metropolitan park, as well as taking advantage of the existing restriction, the high tension line, and using them as attractors and flexible spaces that create an order for the expansion, allowing to integrate the existing settlements into the system, defining each superblock as a border of formal or hybrid typologies, while the interiors defines the flexible development of the sub-constructor settlement, defining an internal system of productive, service, and public spaces, and creating a transition between the different conditions of the area from the ring road to the natural border.
In this sense, the strategies proposed in Colonias de la Barranca seek, through the definition of a protective border, to integrate the existing and proposed systems and connect the urban and the natural, generating public spaces that can nurture the social and cultural values of the existing communities, defining La Barranca as an integral value of the city directly related to the identity of the site.